Just 10 seconds ago, they were running at almost 200 miles an hour, and this has just happened. Coming into the tri-oval, contact made. Actually, Steve Blackburn had slid coming out of turn number 4, got into the grass, and then we had contact in the tri-oval.
Yeah, how about Bobby Gerhardt?
Yeah.
Obviously one of our strongest competitors, former winner here, won Daytona earlier this year. Terminal problems for him, and there's Milka Duna with some serious damage to her car.
A lot of damage, a lot of...
Joey Coulter was going to be a very strong competitor. There's Mike Harmon, the 31 car. We saw him earlier running up in the top 10.
There's so much debris on the racetrack right now. As this has just taken place, they're letting the competitors know we're going to go to red. They'll get as many cars as they can through this situation and then take them over into turns 3 and 4 before they have to throw the red flag out. But yeah, look at the damage there to the 22 of Alex Bowman. Here's what happened.
We're going to see some contact here. You see Steve Blackburn duck to the inside, then the car behind him looked like may have been the 25 car made contact. Then the 35 turned Mike Harmon around right in the middle of all these cars. And look at the hard hits. Alex Bowman goes up on 2 wheels. We saw happening live.
Another look at it.
There's Steve Blackburn. Now Mike Harmon's going to get turned in front of all these cars. That's what happens when you have big pack racing. There's Steve Blackburn getting turned around. See, Mike Harmon's going to get run into by the 35. Catches Joey Coulter and Drew Charlson up against the wall. Look at Alex Bowman up over the top of the 31 car of Mike Harmon.
Getting air at Talladega. We've seen that too many times. Let's look from up above. This is the DirecTV blimp giving us a shot. Again, that 94 gets out of line, and then the contact from behind by the 25 of Brennan Poole.
Yeah, then Nelson Canache in the 35 turns the 31 car. Alex Bowman rides right over top of Mike Harmon and all these cars with absolutely nowhere to go.
Again, the accordion effect after Blackburn goes into the grass, they were checking up behind.
There's Milka doing in the 6 car, running into Mark Thompson in the 66, Terry Jones in the 30, Cushman in the 7. Joey Coulter, there's the 61 left of your screen.
Really, the cars running in about the top 15, top 14 are the only ones that got through that. You saw a very disappointed Bobby Gerhardt already out of his race car. Quite a few drivers out early here at Talladega. Flashback 4 years ago right here at Talladega in 2008. It was young Justin Allgaier that was able to make it to victory lane. Previous races were won on short tracks in Pocono, but then he went on a run and a tear here after Talladega. Again, we're under a red flag condition because of the accident that took place coming out of turn number 4 and in the tri-oval. And now we'll welcome Justin Allgaier into the crowd here. And you've seen some crazy things happen on this racetrack, but early in this race, I mean, we've got a 94-lap race, and on lap 11 this happens.
You know, unfortunately, it's just the big one at Talladega. And, you know, you hate to see it happen, but at the same time, you saw how these guys were racing really, really close. You're not allowed to push in the corners, which they're going to try to get all that pushing done down the straightaway. So it you know, it stinks that it happens this early, but unfortunately, it's the nature of this racetrack.
But where they were on the racetrack, and the fact that they were in line, there was really no reason to do any pushing at that point.
You're exactly right. I think you know, Steve ducked out to the left there below the yellow line. Looked like maybe some guys were jamming up a little bit in front. And anytime somebody gets out of line, you automatically think that, yeah, you see him come down here, they kind of come back to him. And, you know, just when you see somebody duck to the left, your first instinct is to always go ahead and try and fill that gap. And I'm sure that that's what was happening behind him. And unfortunately, you see what the end result is.
Yeah, some hard hits. There's Alex Bowman up on 2 wheels. Fortunately, it came back down on all 4. But this is not the first time we saw some contact. Back just a little bit earlier, back on, I think, lap number 3, we saw these cars get together. Watch here. Right there. You see, that's the 31, the red, white, and blue car on the inside, and there's Steve Blackburn on the outside, or to his outside. They make a little contact right here. That's the 35 below the 94, but below the 94, he's the one that actually ran into the backside of the 94.
I think too.
I mean, of the 31.
One of the things that I've noticed is it doesn't seem like that the amount of room that these guys are giving each other when they're 2, 3, 4 wide, it seems like everybody's hugging really, really close. And normally, especially in the ARCA race, you see guys, because they don't have as much experience, they'll usually leave too much room. For whatever reason today, it seems like that they're shoving in a little bit tighter than they normally would.
We saw that other incident earlier where Alex Gregory was really crowding the guys below him. He had 2 cars below him and it made some contact there. Unfortunately, they both saved it, but not this time.
Justin, how much do you think side drafting helps you at a place like Talladega?
Oh, it's huge. I mean, anytime you're out there, and especially when you've got limited horsepower and you're trying to get all the speed you can, you're going to side draft as much as you possibly can. And it seems like, especially at a place like this, you get within a couple of feet, and it's good. But you get in with a couple of inches, and it's really good. You can actually, I mean, you can pass 3 or 4 guys by doing that. So
and
I'm sure
that's what it seems like we're seeing here is guys wanting to get that side draft and getting so close. But we're so early in this race.
You know, it's funny. It seems like it's always, you're always ready to go here. And a good spotter is somebody that can really help you with that, or a good crew chief. Because for whatever reason, you wanting to go from lap 1, I mean, you just feel like you need to be going to the front. And doesn't always work.
And what a lucky situation there.
Sean Corr, we were riding him. That was the second onboard we were riding with, right in front of Mike Harmon when he came across the racetrack.
The biggest challenge here, too, though, is guys like the 90 Zach Ralston pretty much missed the crash, but you got all the debris flying off, and aerodynamics being as important as they are, you just hope that the guys that did miss it didn't get too much damage.
Yeah, that's Mike Harmon's 31 car here. That's about as bad as you can tear one up here, and he didn't even get upside down. Look at the damage to the roof where Alex Bowman rode over top of him.
That's unbelievable. I mean, it just I'll tell you, to watch him walk away from something like that just shows how far our safety products have come over the last few years.
We're under a red flag condition. The officials are actually taking some water out to the drivers. It's very warm here, and it's a situation where I know it's early in this race, but this is going to take a little while to clean up because it happened right in the trioval area just before the start-finish line. So some fluid was spilled on the racetrack. They're going to clean that up. They're still getting the cars off the racetrack and putting them back into the garage area. So a lot of work still being done. We're under a red flag situation. Drivers have got water, but we've got a lot of laps of racing to go. So stay with us here on Speed. Aerial coverage brought to you by DirecTV. Only DirecTV gives you dedicated driver channels so you'll never miss a second of your driver's race call. You can call 1-800-DirecTV or DirecTV. Welcome back, Talladega Superspeedway. It's the International Motorsports Hall of Fame 250. We have completed 11 laps, but on lap 11, as they were coming across the stripe, only a few made it without damage. So a lot of cars involved. 11 at last count, 12 at last count, excuse me, cars that were involved in this incident. Let's take another look. The 94 of Steve Blackburn goes down below the yellow line, and that's where everything starts.
There was contact with the 25 of Brennan Poole right there, and that's what turned him around. And then the 35 of Nelson Canache turned the 31 car again in the aftermath of that and turned Mike Harmon right dead across the racetrack in front of the rest of the pack.
Yeah, going at speeds upwards of 200 miles an hour. You're really just trying to negotiate through all of that. And one driver who wasn't able to negotiate through it, Bobby Gerhart, is with Jim Trado.
Indeed, Bobby, glad to see you walked out of the care center. What did you see and what did happen on the racetrack?
Well, not too much. Jason Jarrett, my spotter, just notified me maybe 3 or 4 seconds later that there was a spin on the bottom, and boy, that quick, it just everything got blocked up and there wasn't too much I could do. It was just at the wrong place at the right time.
In the race, the laps you did run, how good was Sweet Pea, your car, on the racetrack?
Well, I mean, we got a little bit warm, so I just radioed and said I'm going to come off them a little bit and let the race run. And we had a really, really, really good car that sucked up very well. Unfortunately, in this heat, you can only do it for so long, and you just got to time that right. But you got to test it at some point in the race. And I gave a good run there, and it just didn't go our way today.
Bobby, with the race lined up on points from last year, there's some trepidation by the teams about who is starting where because it wasn't a qualifying session to determine the fastest goes to the front. You've always been fast on plate cars. How different was it for you in the approach here? Were you apprehensive, and was that result maybe some aggression early on?
Yeah, I think it's just, first of all, it's the way it is. I mean, Series doesn't have a lot of options when there's rain, and there's a lot of different drivers that get circled in the cars from year to year, and certainly there's some inexperience in cars that make the rest of us maybe a little bit nervous, but I'm really not sure what happened, so I can't put the finger on anybody, but just not what we were looking for today, but this Lucas Chevrolet was fantastic.
The thoughts of Bobby Gerhart starting mid-pack, making his way through, and unfortunately making his way down early here after that crash, guys.
Bobby brought up an interesting point. Because of the limited amount of practice today, they didn't really weren't able to figure out their tape on the grill to keep these cars cool. He backed off. It's at least 6 degrees warmer right now than it was when they ran practice earlier.